thought I was good on situationships. But when the heart start hearting,
Right.
when the feelings start feeling, when you like,
Right. Hey honey, where you at? Hey honey,
right,
I text you an hour ago.
yeah, yeah, that
So
part.
then that situationship, it becomes a
It
situation.
becomes,
Hey honey,
hey, honey.
I'm DeNeia.
And I'm Kiki. Welcome to another episode of Hey Honey Just Bloom podcast. On this episode, we're going to discuss what goes into deciding to renew or release a relationship, be that platonic or intimate. Yes, we're back again. I am
We're
just
not
too,
doing that
first
all
of all, Dean,
again
I
though.
am just like too hyped because I don't know about you, but this is like third episode in or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been seeing some of the comments. I don't know if you have. And one comment
Mm-hmm.
in particular is not a whole lot, so let me stop fronting because then y'all go
It's
check it
okay.
out. And then y'all be like, it's only one person that said that while she playing.
Not
Lie
at all
she
one
tell.
comment.
One comment is a lot, honey, when you just getting
Listen,
started.
I appreciate it. The one.
That part. But one person said the podcast is really cool and they love the energy, the synergy that we have to keep going. So I just
Awesome.
wanted to say that. So
Well,
I'm
thank
excited.
you.
Were you raising your hand? You.
No, I was saying thank you. Like, hey girl, hey honey, to whoever, or hey sir. Well, he honey too. Hey honey. Whoever said that the comment.
Yeah, we appreciate you. So on this episode, as I said, it's about I'm going to use renew and replace interchangeably, but a few questions, Dania, right? That renew and replace kind of interchangeably. So I may say
Okay.
renew. No, I'm sorry, renew or repair
Mm-hmm.
interchangeably.
Okay.
Yeah, so I may say renew, repair, same kind of thing, but
Yep.
it's the two. Whether you're going to renew a relationship, repair a relationship, and or release it. Okay,
And he
we
said,
want to
let it
let it
go.
go. Let it go. But some questions that I want our audience or listeners to think about as we reflect on this is: how do you know when you need to repair or release? Have you ever repaired a relationship that seemed like it was beyond repair? And what was the
Mm-hmm.
outcome? And are there societal pressures or personal beliefs that influence our willingness to renew, repair, or release relationships? Just
Ooh,
sit with
that's a
that
good
for a moment as we discuss. But I'm
some
going to
good
go to you
questions.
first, Dania.
Okay. Which question
When
am
you
I
think
answering?
about kind of renewing or to release a relationship, do you have a particular relationship that comes to mind, be it intimate, platonic? And what was the
Mm.
outcome? Did you renew it? Did you let it go? What was the reason? What went into it? You know, all the things.
So I probably not. You probably should have had another host for this episode because
Tell me why.
I feel like I have a toxic trait to just release.
You have a toxic trait to just release. So you have a
Release.
tendency to let relationship go.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Most of my platonic relationships either kind of like fell off. It was nothing kind of big that happened where we was like we got into a big argument and we are not friends anymore. So it's maybe we grew apart or moved to different states and then just lost contact. Um, but I could think of one situation.
But wait, Dania, pause for a moment.
Okay.
Because you said your toxic trait is to release, right? And
Hmm.
so are you reflecting on the relationship that you actually released? Is that what you're reflecting on?
No, I'm thinking most of my relationships, I don't know if I ever tried to repair. So
Oh,
I'm saying once it was over, it was over. And then
okay.
post divorce, I don't think I've given anybody a second chance.
Well, so then talk. Well, I'd like to hear that. Let's talk about what has you not give people second chances, because that's what. Because it's repair, renew, or release. What has you releasing?
And this is more in not in platonic relationships because like I said, most of my platonic relationships we kind of either grew apart. It was never any like bad blood, but with and I haven't had a lot of intimate relationships either. I mean, I dated two guys when I was in high school. When I went to college, I met my ex-husband the first week and we dated all throughout college and then we got married and we were married for 10 years on paper, but 7 years actually.
Okay.
And then so he was one person that we tried. We went to counseling. We did all of the things. And then it ended up in a release.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, so it's really a case by case situation.
Okay. Okay.
So that relationship after my ex husband, we were together maybe like a year and a half, but he was very immature. He was very young. He was very intimidated by my ex, and it was like all of these things that we had challenges with. I'm like, listen, sir, these are my kid's father. I mean, my these are my kid's father, and they're young, and he's not going anywhere, so you can't be intimidated by them.
Right.
So it was like a release, bye, sir. So it really depends. See you later.
Okay. And you're it's interesting because one of the reason that drew me to this particular topic is
Yeah.
multifold, right? But one, I
Okay.
was watching somebody on TikTok and she was talking about a pair of boots, and she had this like wonderful pair of boots, and she was like, I had these boots for a long time, and she said I'm going to take them to get them repaired. And I was like, wow, that's good, right? She said, and I said the tendency sometimes, I thought that the tendency sometimes is that we will, if something doesn't work for us or it's broken down, the tendency is it's like, oh, discard of it. Like it's old, it's worn out, let me just get a new pair. And I was like, do we often treat our relationships in the same way? And so it had me think about that. And I don't know if I can say that I have a toxic trait of releasing. I think I have a combo of both. I think part for me, I have a tendency to stay a long time when I probably should let go, but I hold on. And part of that is rooted in my abandonment stuff, right? I feel like to let somebody go is to like abandon them, to like, and I know what that feels like, and I'm just like, no, you got to hold on to the relationship, and sometimes I hold on way past the expiration date.
Yeah.
And then the flip to your point, the flip side is that sometimes I let go, but I know when I let go of a relationship, and be that platonic or intimate, it generally is because I am avoiding conflict. That's when I let go. So the let go is generally a release because I am unwilling to have the difficult conversation.
Wow. And see, for me, now I was like you, but that was really, and y'all gonna get tired of me talking about my divorce, but I was, like I said,
No, we not.
first
That's
week of
part of your honey.
college,
You was in
first
the
week of
marriage for a long
college,
time.
together for 14 years
Yeah.
total, married for 7 years, and then the three, I don't know what you want to call it, we were still married, but whatever.
Unlike
So
mother
that's
over here, because
part
mother
of my
over here has
family that
lived,
I
honey.
come from. Yeah. So in that relationship, I remember distinctly a time where I was like, I knew it wasn't going to work, but I was holding on and was afraid to let go for so many different things. I didn't have a degree. I didn't have a job. He was really like my true first love. I had a first puppy love in high school, but my actual true first love. And so it was really hard to let go and separate it. It was nobody in my family who had been divorced. So it was like, I don't even know how to navigate in that space. And so I held on so long for that. Sometimes even to the point where like, begging to like, come on, we can make this work. Don't you remember when we were happy and friends and all those things? But then after that, I feel like I was so damaged when somebody did one thing that I didn't like. I didn't wasn't avoiding the confrontation. I just felt like I don't even think that you're worth having the conversation or speaking through it to even go on. Like I'm like I
Right.
can't do. I just in my mind I was like, okay, I can't deal with this. Who's next?
Yeah.
So
Next,
but
what's who?
I think that it's toxic because it might not be toxic because I know what I'm willing to work with. And so because they always say you're going to deal with something in relationships, right? And
Yep.
you have to decide what you will work through with somebody and if they're worth it. And so I think the people who I've dated post my ex-husband, I don't think any of them were worth repairing.
Okay. Fair enough. All right.
Sorry guys.
Fair enough.
They might feel the same way though.
Yeah, that's it. They're entitled.
Yeah.
So recently, and you and I were talking about this, right? So it's been a long time since I have been like truly dating or considered somebody to be in like a real, I'm going to say a real relationship with. And so I had been dating a guy, and I think this is probably our third go round because each time I keep releasing.
Yeah.
And then the third go round, I was like, no, we're going to do this again. But I really sat with myself and said, what has you keep letting go? What has you keep letting go? But also what has you keep coming back? But what are you doing differently? And so here's the deal that I think about relationships, right? For me, relationships are a mirror, right? They are a mirror reflection of who I am, or the way in, not maybe who I am, but the way in which I show up. And so for this third go round, I said, I really enjoy this person and his company. I enjoy our connection. I think that we are quite compatible in so many ways. And so I had to ask myself, well, what is the challenge? Because I could say it's him, but I start to look and I start to see some stuff in me that I was like, you can do some things differently. And those things are, whether it's looking at really defining what my values are. I don't think I was very, very clear on what I wanted. I was going along to get along. And so the rubs start to come in. It was like, I am making all of these kind of provisions and all of these things. It didn't feel like the other person was giving in the way that I needed them to give, but there was an unwillingness for me to approach that, to say, hey, this is not how I feel like you should be showing up, or you're not showing up in the way that I need you to. And so instead I'd like internalize, I'd get upset, I do all of those things. And so when we took this last break, I said, girl, sit with yourself and really figure out, what is it that you want? What is it that you need? What are your values? And be very clear about that. And that way, when you are clear and you lay it all out, then the person can make a choice based on those things. And so that's
So,
what that, go ahead. Go
oh
ahead,
no, no. So
ask.
I was just going to ask you, what did you do when you set yourself down? Did you write like the pros and the cons of the relationship? Was it something like internal that you thought about and then had the conversation with him? Like, how did you,
How did I
when
approach
you
it?
decided that you were going to do it? How did you approach it?
Yeah, I first I talked to my therapist,
Okay.
and I said the thing that I was noting was not just in my intimate relationships. It was in my relationships, period, right? In terms
Okay.
of that. And so I started to explore that, but I feel like I notice it more in my intimate relationships, because in my platonic relationship or my familiar relationship, there's a tendency that we just gonna work through the things because we want to work through, because it's family, right? People just kind of do the things, but I don't think that we ever really come to some resolve. You just kind of go along and push through. Whereas in an intimate relationship, that's not necessarily always the case. So anyway, I sat down and I started to really get clear on what my values were. What are the things that I value? What are the things that I want in my relationship? And whether or not this person, did I believe that this person embodied those kind of characteristics and those traits? And I really believe that they did. And I believe that I did not give us a fair chance, in the sense that I never expressed the things, right? It was like more like a
Right.
situationship. And I thought I was good on situationships. Honey, I'm like, oh, I could do a situation. I could see you, you could come. But when the heart start hearting,
Right.
when the feelings start feeling, when you like, hey,
Baby.
honey,
That's the shit, right. Hey honey, where you at? Hey honey,
right?
I text you an hour ago.
Yeah, yeah, that
So
part.
then that situationship, it becomes a
It
situation.
becomes a situation, and it becomes a situation because I'm not really being true about
See,
really
I
what I
can't do
wanted.
it. I can't do situationships.
Yeah.
I just know I'm not built. Dania is not built for
Well, guess what, sister? Neither am I. And I had to learn that the hard way. And so I
that.
just was like, okay, I'm sitting with this. And we had a conversation. I was like, here are the values. Here's the things that I want. I am interested in doing life
Yeah.
with you. And the thing, when I say life with you, that is for however long it looks. However long, because it could be life with you for 6 months. It could be life with you for 6 years. It could be life with you for 60 years. Like, I don't know how long that's going to be. I don't put a time frame on it. But these are the things that I want to hear. The values. Let's see if our values align.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, and
And
that's
how
what I
was that?
did.
And how was that
And
conversation received? Well, I
it,
mean, y'all, oh, man.
well, well, let me just say this, Dania, right? At full transparency.
Okay.
Today I got up and I was thinking about my daughter, my oldest daughter.
Okay.
And she said to me, I shared all the things that I've learned about myself and how I avoid conflicts, the things that I wanted to be able to learn, how I don't necessarily share my feelings for fear that they won't be received or for fear that the people will leave, because that's what it really boils down to, that if I really share how I feel, that it won't be received and the person will leave. That's the thing that has me avoid the conflict.
Don't leave. Don't leave me, girl.
Exactly. And so my daughter was like, okay, I hear you, but let me ask you this, Ma. Can you take the lessons that you learned and apply them to another person? I'm sorry. I can, but I don't want to. But I don't want to. I said, and here's
Let me
why I
tell you
didn't
something.
want you.
The oldest children will get you together
Gather you all the way up.
quickly.
You be like, whoop. You be like, wait now. That is attached to my hair. Stop playing.
Right.
Stop playing. But I said I could, but I didn't want to, in part because I felt like I was getting these new tools and I thought it important and I thought I owed it to myself to be able to implement them and practice them and put them into play with somebody that I felt that I was compatible with. Because what would it look like to like do that and take it there and just see, like, give it a good old college try based upon what I now know about myself. But then I woke up the other day and I was reflecting on what she said and I was like, was she right or was she right? And I was ready to release again. But I was like, but you know what's stopping? Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But
Go ahead. Let me let you finish.
But you know what, DeNeia? You know what had me not? The idea that it takes time for people to change. And behave and I will say this, my therapist said that despite what people say, patterns can change and people can change. And I believe that to be true. And I say that because I would like to think when it's come to me that I could change too, right? Like why would I not want to give somebody the grace that I would want bestowed upon myself? So yeah, so it changed, but I am a commitment. I will say this, I am a commitment. What I'm doing differently now, I am a commitment to speaking and utilizing my voice, no matter how uncomfortable it feels, no matter how I deem that the person may take it, because I cannot be wallowing and lamenting and being upset or hurt, because at the end of the day, like, I got to go to bed at night and sleep with me. And so it may feel uncomfortable, but I got to say what needs to be said.
Yeah. Now let me ask you a question.
No, mm-mm.
So
How about,
as you're giving, and maybe I need to change a little bit and also give second chances to those, well, those who are coming, because those who are coming, no.
so you basically
Are you
saying
gonna,
that you said those who are coming, you basically saying you're not spinning no block. You're not spinning the
I'm
block.
not going back. I'm not
Okay,
spending.
okay.
But are you gonna put are you gonna put like a time limit on some of the things that you desire to change, or will you, like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's 3 months have gone by and you don't see any inkling of a changing in an area that person has committed to working on. Are you going to be just continue to talk through it? Is there like a time limit, or is it just kind of like, I'm gonna go with the flow and see how I feel, and then once I can't take it anymore after I've communicated several times, then I'm gonna
Yeah,
release?
probably the latter. It's a great question. I think it's
Okay.
the latter. I think it's really, I think time frame then just confines you to, like, then I'm like checking clocks and all of that stuff. I just think it's really about ensuring that I'm clear about what I said, right? What I shared, and then giving space for the person to rise to the occasion and vice versa. Because here's the deal, it takes two in a relationship, and I'm sure that there are things about me that are like, ma'am, you could do that differently too. So I'll give it the space. But if it becomes those things that I feel like is a constant repetitive thing, specifically after the person has committed and agreed that that's something that they will work on, because it's different if the person then notes and says, well, I appreciate you bringing that to my attention, and that's just not an area that I can, like, I'm just very clear that that's part of me that I can't do, right?
Yeah. Take me
And
out.
that's different. But if
Yeah.
you're like, no, I'm committed to that and I can see what you're saying, and then yeah, and it's a constant kind of, I'm keep doing that thing, then I probably at some point will say, this is not working for me. But again, I think it depends on what it is. Because if it's 10 things hypothetically and 7 of them are like being worked on and things are going good, those 3 I just may need to be in a kind of accepting space of, and be like,
Yeah.
you take the good, you take the bad, you take the both, and there you have facts of life.
That's right.
um,
But I only
yeah.
ask because of those of us who have in the past stayed in situations too long. How do we not repeat that cycle? Like, is there a measurement? You know what I mean? Maybe it's not a time frame. Like, how can we decide, or do we go off our gut? Because our old gut in the past said, we're going to keep staying because now I'm getting comfortable. And sometimes we get in our head and can talk ourselves into staying into these situations
Yeah.
where we know, like, he's still doing this again and I can't take it. But this, and this. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. 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 No.
how do we not get into that repetitive cycle of staying too long?
Yeah. I think one of the ways to not do it is to recognize first that you're doing it, and then to start asking yourself the hard questions, right? Am I back in the pattern that I've been before? Am I utilizing, and these are the things that I ask myself, am I utilizing my voice? Do I feel like I want to say something, but I'm not saying it? And if I'm not saying it, why am I not saying it? Am I not saying it because I don't want to be nitpicky? Am I not saying it?
Slowly. No, I'm joking. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, no.
Nitpicky,
Yeah, am I
nitpicky.
not being nitpicky? Kind of what are the things that going into me not saying the thing that I'm not saying or doing, and then I assess from there. But so like even recently, I came up against something, and I was ready to be like, I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. But it only had been a short period of time. But I was like, I'm not doing this. And then I was like, you know why you're saying you're not doing this? Because you're actually not utilizing your voice. And you rather leave than to say what it is that's on your mind and heart. So I said, fuck it. Ba-da-da-da-da. This is what you said. And I just was like, and I just have to trust that whatever I say, the person is going to receive it or they're not. That's on you. But I can't keep
Receive it
holding
in the
that
way
because it
that you're
doesn't feel
giving
good.
it. Receive
Huh?
it in your heart posture. Because
Yeah.
people will receive it. You send a text, people will receive it, but in hopes that they receive it in the way that you are. If they know
You
you,
intend it.
in the way that where it's coming from, like it's not
Yeah.
coming from a,
Yeah,
nasty.
and that the only way to know that is to ask, and I think that's what I'm learning too. The only way to know that is to ask questions, right? Is for the person to be like, well, how do you receive that? What do you hear me? If they are defensive, what do you hear me saying? And I think in releasing, removing, repairing, going forward, everybody has to put everything on the table, right? And I think that's the key too. We got to put everything on the table. This is what didn't work. This is what I need. What didn't work for you? What do you need? Are you open to that? Yay, nay. It has to all be out there.
Consistent
Otherwise,
communication.
it's just gonna be more of the same. But what I don't know is it ain't gonna be more of the same with me because I'm not gonna. When you know better, as my mama used to say, when you know better, you do
You do
better.
better? Is that what she said? Yeah, you do better.
Yeah, you do better.
All right, so Kiki, as we were doing our research on this topic, we came across an article from Psychology Today called "Should I Stay or Should I Go? Relationship Uncertainties," right? And so it gave some strategies and reflections and questions to clarify, some steps that you should do to decide if you're going to release a relationship, repair it, renew it, right?
Yeah.
And so one of them was focus on your values. And you kind of talked about this a little bit when I was asking about staying in that cycle. And you were kind of saying, like, just kind of, sit down and focus on what your values are. And so one of the things was to ask yourself the question, am I showing up to this relationship the way that I should?
That's good.
Another one was, oh, go ahead. Do you have something to
No,
say?
no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no. You good, good. You good. You
Okay.
good.
The other one, another question was, what are my values? What do I want from this relationship? Am I getting from what I want? And just really like putting a pinpoint to what you want and what you desire out of the relationship.
Yeah.
Does this relationship support and enable me to live according to them?
Yeah.
Did that sound right?
Yeah, that's right.
Does
That's
this relationship support and enable me to live according to them?
according to them being the values.
To them,
Yeah,
to
they're like, why
them,
does that sound?
to
That sounds like
them, to
yeah.
her,
Right, no, not to them, not to the person, to the values,
Does
to
this
the values.
relationship support and enable you to live according to the values
Yeah,
that you put in place?
yeah. One of the one that this next one is really, I think this next one is really good. Honor the relationship between you and you,
That's where it starts, I think. Because
first and
if you don't,
foremost.
you ever heard of it? It's so I didn't really. I mean, I know that older people say it, but I had a girlfriend that I used to work with, child, and we used to work in a call center together, and she always talked about how our manager was to certain people, and she would be like, "You got to teach people how to treat you." And
Mm-hmm.
so, in teaching somebody how to treat you, you have to teach yourself how to treat yourself. So, if you don't treat yourself well, it's easy for somebody to kind of maneuver their way in to
That's right.
treat you any old kind of way. If you don't love yourself and you don't put value in yourself, you have to honor that relationship between you and you.
That's
And
right.
so you have to teach yourself how to treat you, and then with that, you can go on into that relationship and have, that person will respect and honor you because you respect and honor yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that you're right. That is the first and foremost. And it actually made me think of another kind of situation. I was talking to someone about a friendship that they were in, and they were
Okay.
feeling like I'm coming to the friendship and I'm doing all of the things that I feel like I need to do and showing up as the good friend, and I'm not that's not being reciprocated. And then the question becomes, do I even want this friendship anymore, right? And so they were sharing with me like the text message exchange, etc. And I am practicing and in talking to this person, the practicing responding versus reacting. And so I said, one of the things that I think is really important is that you share vulnerably. I think the tendency is to always look and point at what the other person is not doing, right? As opposed to asking about what is it that you need or sharing what you need. And so I said, at this point, you get to say to the person, hey, this is what I need, or I feel good when you do this, feels good when you do X, Y, or Z, so that you can support them in reinforcing the things that you enjoy doing. I think
Yeah.
vulnerability is such a big part, and some of us are so unwilling, I can speak for myself, to be vulnerable and to like put ourselves out there and say, that hurts. My feelings, or I'm sad when, or this, right? And so I think that's really, really important. So when you start honoring you, you will start,
Yeah.
that will be your come from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You'll start having those conversations or start setting boundaries.
Or we're going, so maybe not here, but honey, we need to talk. Follow us on for more of that episode where we're going to start talking about boundary setting. Okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about it now. We're not gonna mix that
Not
because
now.
we
Okay.
can, but we not. We not. But Jania, what do they say about honor the relationship between you and you?
So it says for some people, it was becoming aware of the ways in which they had abandoned themselves that helped make a decision.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes we abandon ourselves, and
We
sometimes we
do.
betray ourselves. You betray yourself when you don't speak
Oftentimes
up.
in relationships.
Yes. Wait, did something come to mind for you?
Well, relate to my marriage.
Okay. 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 Is that another topic for another time
I
too?
mean, but also even with my relationship with my kids,
Mm.
the last episode, I think I was saying I'm still struggling with being an empty nester because I still want to be that mom. I still want to be involved. I still want to help them get to the careers that they want to get and play the part that I played when they were in junior high and high school. And so, and not letting go. And so it's that thing like I abandoned everything that I need to do for myself and will continue to do for my kids. And so like that's the hard part of moving into empty nesting, but it's also not fostering my relationship between you and you and saying, look, Dania, you sacrificed so much for so long. Now it's time for you to do these things for yourself, but always putting others first. So
Yeah.
yeah, and abandoning myself because I'm putting other people, my kids. I'm saying other people like I don't know them. My kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we do friends. Sometimes we do boyfriends, girlfriends, others before us.
Yeah.
So it can be easy to abandon. You get into a relationship and you're so happy, and you maybe hadn't been in a relationship for such a long time, and you want it to work. You're gonna do everything you can to make it work or make them happy. Sometimes not even realizing you're not making yourself happy, or you're not happy because you're just pushing so hard to make that other person happy.
Yeah. That's really good. That's really good, Tania. But excuse me. Yeah, that's insightful too, because as a mom, we tend to do that. And then the transition, as you were saying, from empty nester, I think the transition really, even if it's not empty nester, I think the transition also into our children becoming adults. That transition in and of itself is something, honey. It's something. Excuse me. Hold that thought.
You say you want some water, girl? Also, being a caretaker, I know what you're looking through, but being a caretaker takes so much. I have a girlfriend who takes kids. She works from home. She takes care of her dad, who he can't walk, and he has a lot of things going on, and it's a lot for her. And so she talks about like all the weight that she's gained because she really can't leave the house because she's working from home, and then she has her father that she is a caretaker for. So in that, she has, abandoned herself because her first priority is, paying her bills, and then her father, taking care of him and making sure he's good.
But in that relationship, because that's so yeah, okay. So we're talking about the relationship between her and her,
Between you
but
and you,
because
just
she's not going
abandoning
to release the
herself.
relationship with, and that's interesting too, right? Because she's not going to release the relationship with that of her father. But the question becomes, even in caring for dad, how do I care for me? I think is what you're saying. How do I continue to
Yes.
care for me while caring for another?
Yeah.
Yeah, while caring for another, which is so paramount, so important. I was looking for something that my friend said to me, and I thought it was so good. I was like, "Girl, this is a daggone quote." Oh, I
Oh, did
found
you
it.
find it?
I said,
Can
"This
we
is a
put it on a
quotable."
T-shirt and
Yeah,
get a
this is a
photo?
quotable. So when I was sharing with her I was sharing with my friend that I was looking to have the conversation and repair or renew this relationship. And I was like, I don't know how it's going to go, what's going to happen, etc. And she says, and shout out to my friend Rachel. She
Hey,
says,
Rachel. Hey,
she
honey.
says, I have endless options, and it's not wrapped up in this one person. But I get to practice with this person to see if it lines up.
Ooh.
So I was like, okay. So she was like, because
Get
you
right.
sometimes we're in these relationships, friendships, intimate or otherwise, and it feels like this is it. Like this is the only
Yeah.
one, right? Or the only
Yeah.
two or three friendships. And she's like, you have endless options, but you
Yeah.
get to practice. And that's what I went
Mm-hmm.
back to, is to opportunity to practice to see if it lines up. If it lines up, great. If it doesn't, then so be it.
Yeah.
But no one can say, and then by no one I mean me. I get
Yeah.
to wake up and be like, I gave it a good old college, like I gave it a good old try, but not necessarily for that person, but for me,
For yourself.
for
Yeah.
myself. Yeah,
The
I want
article
to.
also said, oh, I'm sorry.
No, you good. Go.
The article also said, we're discussing the honor of the relationship between you and you, realizing that I wasn't being an authentic version of myself, and I couldn't live a discounted version of my life. Let me say it
You
again.
say that again. Say
That
say that
last part. That
again.
last part. I could not live a discounted version of my life. There's no discounts. There's no coupons.
Woo,
Get clipped.
honey.
Child.
Woo,
I feel like I've lived a certain amount of time where my life is
discounted.
this.
You was in a 99-cent store. No.
I don't know if I was all the way at the 99-cent store, maybe the dollar store.
The dollar store is $1.10 or 25 cents now,
Ooh,
honey.
it's $1.50 now. It's going up
Woo!
too. But no, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know if we all have, but I think if we're all being honest, there's a portion, maybe a small portion. Could have been in high school, could have been as an adult, where we discounted, we lived a discounted life, and
yeah,
it's no longer.
yeah. I think,
But
yeah, that and
everybody
the and
believes
the, and the
case.
underlying word, the word there to underscore, to underline, is authentic.
Baby.
Am I being my authentic self? And I think that that's where the rub comes in. That's where the rubber meets the road. When you find yourself in this kind of like conundrum, and you find yourself trying to figure it all out, it's like, am I being authentic to myself? Am
And
I
you
being true
find
to me?
yourself scrolling through Instagram and TikTok and all of those things, and wanting to portray a life that other people are showing some of it and not all of it, and all of those things, and you feel like, you're not meeting up, and then you try to meet that, are you really being your authentic true self?
Yeah. Yeah, we all want a love that's true, right? A love that's true with us ourselves, a love that's true, whatever true is for you. I think we all, not, I can't say all, many, if you desire a healthy relationship, then you want to be able to be authentic. You want to be able to be authentic. And I think that's important for me. If I can't drop it like it's hot, if I can't be in the middle of the street doing the things that I do, ooh, 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 if I cannot be doing that, and I mean, if I can't be my silly, goofy, fun, introspective, petty, analytical, like loving, giving, all of that, then I can't be with that person. Because if any part of me feels like I have to suppress any part of me, that's not the relationship for me, and that's in intimate or otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. Love me, take me as I am.
That part.
Or don't take me at all, or I don't take you at all. I'm not giving you that option.
But yeah. Well, I guess we can say this, that you have, you're a choice, and we're not in relationships alone. Relationships are with other people, and we have an opportunity and a responsibility, I think, to ourselves to be honest, to be forthright. What else do you think we have a responsibility to
be
do?
Authentic.
Be authentic.
Absolutely.
Be authentic. And don't be afraid to have the difficult conversations. Say what, that there was a song, say what you need to say. I forgot who sings it, but I really love it. Say what you need to say. I forgot some guy.
Oh, say what you...
Yeah, nope, it's not coming. The song is not songing. I can hear it in my head, but it's not coming to me.
Say what you need to say.
No.
I give up. I quit. But say what you need to say. Girl, hey, honey, say what you need to say, but don't let me say it.
And make sure you get what is it that you desire and want in the relationship. Be loved in the way that you want to be loved. You deserve.
Accept nothing less.
Nope. All right. With that being said, you get to decide whether you're going to renew, repair, and/or release. And whatever you do, the choice is yours. You can get with this, or you can get with that. We're so silly today, but that is.
I was thinking, like, we are so animated.
What's happening? What's happening today? I don't know, but it's a good thing, and we are happy that you've come with us on another journey of Hey Honey, Just Bloom, the podcast, where we remind you. What you about to say, DeNeia?
I was just saying, yay! I'm just so happy that I'm so happy that I can't even talk, but I'm so happy that you all joined us and listened in today. We hope that we gave you some insight on how, if you are in a situation, trying to navigate a situation, how to decide on whether you're going to repair, release, or renew. Or if you know a friend, send this to them so they can watch, so they can get a few tips from you girls.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining another episode of Hey Honey, Just Bloom.
Follow us on all of our social media platforms. So come join us as we navigate this journey. One laugh, one tear, and one Hey Honey at a time.
And remember, it's never too late or too soon
to just bloom.